So, have you heard about the new AI lie detector developed by NYU researchers?
Yes, I just read about it. It's pretty fascinating. Apparently, it can analyze microexpressions and even vocal cues using just a smartphone camera.
Exactly. The model claims to be 90% accurate in detecting deceit. That's a pretty bold statement. Do you think it could really be that reliable?
Well, 90% is impressive, but it also sounds a bit too good to be true. It's one thing to detect facial expressions, but adding vocal analysis too? I wonder how they account for things like nervousness or excitement, which could skew the results.
True. I'm sure there are variables that could throw it off. But at the same time, if it works as advertised, it could be a game changer in fields like law enforcement or even job interviews.
Yeah, that's one of the exciting possibilities. But there's also a darker side, right? Critics are already talking about privacy concerns. What if this technology falls into the wrong hands?
That's a real worry. Imagine authoritarian governments using it to manipulate or control people. The idea of being constantly analyzed for signs of deceit could lead to massive privacy violations.
Exactly. It's not just about the technology itself, but how it's used. If people's emotions and behaviors are being tracked without consent, that's a major ethical issue.
And there's the question of accuracy again. Even if it's 90% accurate, that still leaves room for a 10% margin of error. What happens when that 10% leads to someone being wrongfully accused?
Right. In high stakes situations like criminal investigations, those 10% errors could have serious consequences. We could be punishing innocent people based on an AI's interpretation of their feelings.
So it's clear this technology isn't just a tool, but something that requires careful oversight. How do we balance the potential benefits with the risks?
That's the million-dollar question. Maybe regulations could help, like requiring informed consent or limiting how the tech is used. But I'm not sure how feasible that is on a global scale.
Yeah, global regulation would be tricky, especially with the rise of surveillance states. It's definitely something we'll need to think about as this technology evolves.
Absolutely. It's exciting, but there's a lot to consider before we start relying on AI for something as personal as truth-telling.
Agreed. This could change the way we interact with each other, but we have to be cautious about how it's implemented. It's a fine line between innovation